Hi, greetings, true believers. Well, it's time to take a look at the final film of Phase 4 of the MCU, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. T'Challa, King of Wakanda, is dying from an unspecified terminal illness which his sister Shuri believes can be cured by the heart-shaped herb. Shuri attempts to synthetically recreate the herb after it was destroyed by Eric Killmonger, but fails to do so before T'Challa dies. 1 year later, Wakanda is under pressure from other nations to share their vibranium, with some parties attempting to steal it by force. Queen Ramonda implores Shuri to continue research on the herb, hoping to create a new Black Panther that will defend Wakanda, but she refuses due to her belief that the Black Panther is a figure of the past. In the Atlantic Ocean, the CIA and U.S. Navy SEALs utilize a vibranium detector to locate a potential vibranium deposit underwater. The expedition is killed by a group of blue-skinned, water-breathing superhumans led by Namor, with the CIA believing Wakanda to be responsible. Namor confronts Ramonda and Shuri, easily bypassing Wakanda's advanced security. Blaming Wakanda for the vibranium race, he gives them an ultimatum. Deliver him the scientist responsible for the vibranium detector, or he will attack Wakanda. Shuri and Okoye learn from CIA agent Everett K. Ross that the scientist in question is MIT student Riri Williams and arrive at the university to confront her. The group is pursued by the FBI and then by Namor's warriors, who defeat Okoye before taking Shuri and Williams underwater to meet Namor. Angered by Okoye's failure to protect Shuri, Ramonda strips her of her title as General of the Dora Milaje and seeks out Nakia, who has been living in Haiti since the blip. Namor shows Shuri his vibranium-rich underwater kingdom of Talokan, which he has protected for centuries from discovery by the world. Better at the surface world for enslaving the Maya, Namor proposes an alliance with Wakanda against the rest of the world, but threatens to destroy Wakanda if they refuse. Nakia helps Shuri and Williams escape, killing a Takloni guard in the process, and Namor retaliates with an attack against Wakanda, during which Ramonda drowns while saving Williams. Namor vows to return with his full army, and the citizens of Wakanda relocate to the Jabari Mountains for their safety. Meanwhile, Ross is arrested by his ex-wife, CIA Director Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, for secretly exchanging classified intelligence with Wakandans. After Ramonda's funeral, Shuri uses the remnant of the herb that gave Namor's people their superhuman abilities to reconstruct the heart-shaped herb. She ingests it, gaining superhuman abilities and meeting Killmonger in the Ancestor Plane, who urges her to seek revenge. Shuri dons a new Black Panther suit and is accepted by the other Wakandan tribes as the Black Panther. Despite M'Baku's urges for peace, Shuri is determined to exact revenge on Namor for Ramonda's death in order to immediate counterattack on Talokan. Preparing for battle, with Ao assuming the position of General of the Dora Milaje, Shuri bestows the Midnight Angel armor upon Okoye, who in turn recruits Dora Milaje member Anika to join her. Williams creates an Iron Man-esque powered exoskeleton to aid the Wakandans. Using a seafaring vessel, the Wakandans lure Namor and his warriors to the surface with another vibranium detector as a battle ensues. Shuri traps Namor in a fighter aircraft, intending to draw him out and weaken him. The pair crash on a desert beach and fight. Shuri gains the upper hand, and has a vision of Ramonda and implores Namor to yield, offering him a peaceful alliance. Namor accepts, and the battle ends. Namor's cousin, Namora, is upset at Namor's surrender, but he assures her that the new alliance will allow them to conquer the surface world one day. Williams returns to MIT, leaving her suit behind, while Okoye rescues Ross from captivity. Shuri plants more heart-shaped herbs to ensure the future of the Black Panther mantle. In Shuri's absence, M'Baku steps forward to challenge for the throne. Shuri visits Nakia in Haiti, where she burns her funeral robe in accordance with Ramonda's wishes, allowing herself to finally grieve for T'Challa. In a mid-credits scene, Shuri learns that Nakia and T'Challa had a son named Toussaint, whom Nakia has been raising in secret. Toussaint reveals his Wakandan name is T'Challa. Aw, that's sweet. So let's take a look at the production of this film, beginning with the development. With the release of Black Panther in February 2018, producer Kevin Feige said there were many stories to tell about the character, and he wanted director and co-writer Ryan Coogler to return for any sequel. Marvel Studios wanted to keep the creative team intact as possible, while Walt Disney Studios chairman Alan F. Horn, despite feeling it was too early to discuss a sequel, was also positive about the desire to have Coogler return as director. Coogler wanted to see how Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa / Black Panther would grow as the king in future films. Since his reign had only recently begun in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in contrast to the comics, where he was king since childhood. In March 2018, Feige said there was nothing specific to reveal about a sequel, but Marvel had ideas and a pretty solid direction on where they wanted to take a second film. That month, Boseman's agent Michael Green was in negotiations for the actor to return as T'Challa in 2 planned Black Panther sequels for a reported pay of $10 million and $20 million, respectively. By October, Coogler had closed a deal to write and direct a sequel to Black Panther. Despite both Marvel and Coogler having always intended to work together again after the first film's success, Coogler avoided rushing into a deal. Negotiations with Coogler were completed under the radar in the months following the first film's release. He was expected to begin writing the sequel in 2019, ahead of a planned filming starting in late 2019 or early 2020. In November 2018, Letitia Wright was confirmed to be reprising her role of T'Challa's sister Shuri for the sequel. When Angela Bassett, who played Ramonda in Black Panther, was asked if the main cast would return for the sequel, her husband Courtney B. Vance said they would. He said this included Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, who was killed in the first film, and Bassett agreed. Feige dismissed Vance's statement in June 2019 as pure rumor, saying there were no set plans for the film, as Coogler had just begun outlining it and had not yet shared his plans with Feige or co-producer Nate Moore. The next month, John Caney expressed interest in reprising his role as T'Challa's father T'Chaka in the film, and Denai Guerrero stated that Coogler had confirmed she would be reprising her role of Okoye in the sequel. Feige confirmed the sequel's development at the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con, while Martin Freeman confirmed in August that he would reprise his role as Everett K. Ross in the sequel. A release date of May 6, 2022 was announced at D23 alongside the placeholder title Black Panther 2. Feige said Coogler had completed a script treatment for the film that included a villain and new title. At the end of 2019, Ruth E. Carter confirmed that she would be returning from the first film as costume designer for the sequel, and said that she was set to begin work on it in the fall. Feige, Boseman, and Coogler discussed adapting elements of Boseman's more gung-ho T'Challa performance in the second episode of What If for the film. On August 28, 2020, Boseman died from colon cancer. Coogler said that he had been unaware of Boseman's illness and had spent the last year prepping, imagining, and writing words for him to say in the film that we weren't destined to see. Feige and other executives of Marvel Studios were also unaware of Boseman's illness. Boseman, who had become thinner from his illness in the weeks prior to his death, had been prepared to be gaining the weight back in September 2020 ahead of filming the sequel in March 2021. According to The Hollywood Reporter, industry observers felt Disney could recast the role, but that might generate a fan outcry and prompt comparisons between actors. Another suggestion was for Disney to shift their plans and have Shuri take on the mantle of the Black Panther, which occurred in the comic books. By the time of Boseman's death, Coogler was in the middle of writing the script and already turned in a draft. In mid-November, executive producer Victoria Alonso said a digital double of Boseman would not be created for the film, and added that Marvel was taking their time to work out what they were going to do next and how. Later in the month, Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, and Bassett were confirmed to be reprising their roles for the sequel as Nakia, M'Baku, and Ramonda, respectively, while Tenoch Huerta was in talks for an antagonist role. At that time, filming was expected to begin in June or July 2021 in Atlanta, Georgia. In December 2020, the film's release date was moved back to July 8, 2022. Feige also confirmed that the role of T'Challa would not be recast, and said the sequel would explore the world and characters of the first film as a way to honor the legacy that Boseman helped build. He later reaffirmed that visual effects would not be used to include Boseman in the film, and also said it felt like it was much too soon to recast, noting how the world outside and within the MCU was still processing the loss of Boseman. By the end of the month, Boseman's makeup designer Sian Richards was set to return for the sequel, while his personal costumer Craig Anthony said he would not commit to the film due to Boseman's death. Hair designer Deidre Dixon was unsure if she would return following Boseman's death, as well as the death of her sister. Feige said in January 2021 that the primary focus of the sequel was always about further exploring the characters and different subcultures of Wakanda. That same month, Jordan said he was willing to reprise his role as Killmonger, as he felt returning to the MCU would always be on the table in some capacity due to his love for the character and for working with Coogler. In February, Daniel Kaluuya said he was unsure if he would reprise his role as W'Kabi. He ultimately did not due to scheduling conflicts with Jordan Peele's Universal Pictures film Nope. And now on to pre-production. In March 2021, Coogler said he was still writing the script and described working on the film with Boseman as the hardest thing he had ever done in his career. He added that Boseman had held together the first film, and now as the director, he was the one trying to keep it going. He was able to reuse many elements of his planned film before Boseman's death while incorporating and applying the themes that the people who were hurting just as much as me could actually perform and execute and come out on the other side whole. According to Coogler, the original version of the script would have explored T'Challa dealing with resuming life after the blip, grieving loss of time after being gone for 5 years, and involved T'Challa's relationship with his son Toussaint, who he never met because of the blip. Coogler also said that Namor and Valentina Allegra de Fontaine were in the original script, with de Fontaine having a larger role compared to the final film. Wright added that Shuri would have become the Black Panther alongside T'Challa. Freeman said he would soon meet with Coogler to discuss the project. In April, Coogler wrote an op-ed in which he said the film would still shoot in Georgia despite the state passing its controversial Election Integrity Act of 2021 law. Though Coogler did not support the bill, he felt that boycotting the film production in the state would have a negative effect on the people who otherwise would have been employed by the film. He still planned to raise awareness of how to overturn the bill. Nyong'o expressed excitement about Coogler's plans and how everyone involved was dedicated to continuing Boseman's legacy. Later saying that Coogler had reshaped his ideas for the film to respect Boseman, which he felt was spiritually and emotionally correct to do. Moore described the film as how you move forward while dealing with a tragic loss. All the characters, both old and new, are dealing with how loss can affect your actions in ways that are emotional and surprising. The film continues to explain feminist themes from the first film, with Nyong'o saying the film would tackle the beliefs, passions, love, and arguments of the women characters, creating a robust drama. She also felt that Wakanda was a world we are striving to get to. The film introduces Namor to the MCU, while changing his homeworld for the comics, Atlantis to Talokan. Talokan is a lavish, hidden underwater Mesoamerican civilization that was inspired by ancient Mayan culture. The creatives worked with Mayan historians and experts to portray it. Coogler noted that Talokan was similar to Wakanda in that it was also an advanced civilization hiding in plain sight, with Moore stating the two often find themselves in conflict because they are not dissimilar. They are these nations that would prefer to be hidden and isolated, with monarchs who are incredibly powerful and have strong points of view about how the world should be. Hannah Beachel returns from the first film as production designer, noting that she did a deep dive to portray this version of Atlantis in the film. She was visually inspired by the films Jaws and Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Jack Kirby's comic imagery. Card included jade and aquatic elements in her costumes for the Talokan people, and referenced sea creatures such as the lionfish and sharks for their feather headdresses. Many of the costumes need to be tested in water given the amount of underwater filming that occurred. One of the reasons would have been that there were no comparisons with Aquaman from competing company DC Entertainment. The association between the legendary Atlantis and Mesoamerica came from the book Atlantis, the Antediluvian World by Ignatius L. Donnelly. In May 2021, Marvel Studios revealed the film's title as Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which Ethan Anderton of Slash Film believed was a fitting tribute to Boseman since Wakanda Forever is the battle cry of the Wakandans. Wakanda Forever was originally intended to be used as the title of a potential third Black Panther film before the creators decided to use it for the second film, Moore stating that the title felt right because it's a story about triumph through adversity, it's a story about legacy, it's a story about persistence, and Wakanda Forever says all of those things. By the end of that month, Freeman said he read the script and expressed excitement for it. At the end of June, Edgar Luna, the business development manager of Worcester, Massachusetts Economic Development Office, said the technical department of Wakanda Forever was in the city the week of June 25th to scout and inspect filming locations, including at the Worcester Police Department headquarters. And now on to the filming. Production started at Trilth Studios in Atlanta, Georgia on June 29, 2021, under the working title Summer Break. Prior to Boseman's death, filming had been said to start in March 2021. At the start of filming, Feige announced that everyone from the first film was expected to return. Autumn Gerald Arcapa served as the cinematographer after doing so on Marvel Studios' Disney Plus series Loki, replacing the first film's cinematographer Rachel Morrison. A longtime collaborator of Coogler's, Morrison planned to return for Wakanda Forever, but was unable due to a scheduling conflict with her film Flint Strong caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Discussing the use of anamorphic lenses as opposed to spherical lenses, Coogler explained that anamorphic lenses warp the image a little bit, which fit the film having the fog of loss over it, a profound loss, can warp how you look at the world. Arcapa used Panavision T-series anamorphic lenses, which were specifically modified by Panavision. Red, Gura, Nyong'o, and Kasumba bonded together on set while dealing with their grief for Boseman's death, with Red and Gura particularly connecting through taking walks together. Gura described feeling emotional while entering the throne set, and she remembered filming scenes with Boseman during the first film, and said that Coogler helped her process her grief. Aww. Bassett said in July that the screenplay was still undergoing changes due to Boseman's death, and had gone through at least 5 incarnations. She also indicated that the first film's co-writer Joel Robert Cole was contributing to the sequel, which Feige soon confirmed. Michaela Joel joined the cast in an undisclosed role. In August, Isaac Day Bancol was set to reprise his role as the Wakandan River Tribe Elder, and Dominique Thorne began filming scenes for Wakanda Forever as Riri Williams before starring as that character in the Disney Plus series Ironheart. Filming that month was expected to take place at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Worcester, with the production preparing to film a car chase in Worcester by August 18th. A chase was filmed in the Ernest A. Johnson Tunnel on August 23rd and 24th. On August 25th, Ryder was temporarily hospitalized with what were believed to be minor injuries sustained in an accident while filming a stunt in Boston. Ryder went to her home in London for recovery in September, while filming continued to shoot around her character. Dorothy Steele, who portrayed the Wakandan merchant tribe elder in the first film, died on October 15th. She was in the middle of reprising her role for the sequel when she died. In late October, the film's release was delayed to November 11th, 2022. Production moved to the Mary Ross waterfront park in Brunswick, Georgia by October 22nd, while filming occurred from October 28th to November 2nd. Michael Torres, the manager of the Brunswick Landing Marina, said a 300-foot cruise ship would join the production in the following days, and most of the filming occurred on the water. Matthew Hill, Brunswick's Downtown Development Authority director, said most of the scenes were shot at night. By November 5th, filming of these scenes that didn't require a write was completed, where the production went on hiatus on November 19th. This was to accommodate Wright's fractured shoulder and a concussion, which were more serious than initially determined, and was not expected to affect the film's release date. The United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention implemented new rules by November 8th requiring non-U.S. citizens to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and provide proof of vaccination before traveling to the country. The Hollywood Reporter noted that this could present an issue for Wright's return to filming in Atlanta, since she is not a U.S. citizen and was reportedly not vaccinated. In mid-December, the Hollywood Reporter confirmed that filming will resume in late January 2022 in Atlanta, with Wright involved. Feige and Warren executive producer Louis D'Esposito confirmed upon the start of hiatus that Wright was the film's new lead. Filming resumed by mid-January 2022, with covered Wright returning, and was expected to continue for 4 weeks. Filming was originally scheduled to resume on January 10th, but was delayed by a week after cast and crew members, including Nyong'o, tested positive for COVID-19. At that time, the Hollywood Reporter reported that Duke had negotiated a pay raise for his return because of his character's expanded role in the sequel. The following month, Nyong'o revealed that Danny Zapani will be reprising his role as the Wakanda border tribe elder in the film. Thorne completed filming her scenes by March 13th. Additional photography began on March 18th in Puerto Rico, while filming officially wrapped on March 24th. And now finally onto the post-production. In June 2022, Huerta confirmed that he was appearing in the film, and he was officially announced to be playing Namor at the 2022 San Diego Comic-Con the next month. Nicole Mabel Cadena and Alex Lavanelli were also revealed to be respectively playing Anika, Namora, Atuma, and Florence Consumba was confirmed to be reprising her role as Ao. Reshoots occurred with the cast following their appearance at Comic-Con, where I described them as being for little missing pieces. In late July, it was revealed that Nakamu Usman would appear in the film, while Richard Schiff was revealed to be cast in September. Lake Bell was revealed to be appearing in the film in October. She previously voiced alternate versions of Natasha Romanoff / Black Widow in What If. Michael P. Shawver returns as editor from the first film. 2,233 of the film's 2,548 shots involved the use of visual effects, which were created by more than a dozen VFX vendors. Perception designed the film's Man on End title sequence, which depicts Shuri's funeral clothes being burned to reveal a Black Panther suit underneath. The sequence was filmed particularly using a specialized fireproof Panavision camera, with the perception igniting controlled flames on cloth similar to the fabric worn by Shuri in the film. The film only features one post-credit scene, with the word explained that the creatives felt the ending was so kind of poetic that including an additional scene after the credits would have felt a little disingenuous tonally from what we were doing. I definitely believe that. So overall, I think this is just a fantastic movie, a fantastic sequel, and just a fantastic way to end Phase 4 of the MCU. So, yeah. So, I give Black Panther Wakanda Forever 5 Captain America shields out of 5. Well, thank you for joining me for Marvel May 2023. And tune in next year as we take a look at Phase 5 of the MCU, beginning with Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. So, until then, in the words of the late great Stan Lee, Excelsior!